Hi, welcome to Metaphysical Hippie Chicks 2.0. We are here to talk about all things paranormal, metaphysical, whatever our hearts desire, whatever hearts you have.
One or two.
Or 9.
Card is involved, I don't know. Exactly.
Okay. All right, stop. Hi, welcome to Hi, welcome to Metaphysical Hippie Chicks. Shut up.
I think you need to keep all of this now. Pretty much explains us right there.
Okay. Hi, everybody. We're Metaphysical Hippie Chicks 2.0. We're here to have a lot of fun and talk about anything metaphysical, paranormal, the weird, the wacky. We're just here to have fun. So thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about a few things. And the first thing we're going to start off with is the Dyatlov Pass incidents. Many of you have seen this online. There is a documentary about it. And we're just here to talk about it because things seem awfully strange and things don't make sense. And I'd like to introduce you to my cohorts, Annalisa Bastiani, and Terry Scalia, my two best friends.
Aw. Happy Tuesday.
So this Dyatlov Pass incident it was in the northern part of the Ural Mountains in what was now the former Soviet Union. There were 10 hikers. One returned home because of health reasons, and 9 were left on the hike who subsequently died. 2 had tested positive for radiation, and I saw on the documentary that they both had been exposed to radiation prior to the hike. One worked in some place that had radiation, and another one visited the site. So let's talk about the injuries because they were pretty strange, and there's a lot.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Sure.
There was one girl that survived. She was the only girl that survived. Isn't that the one where she made her way down to the river? And
yeah, that was the Khamar Daban mountain range.
Oh, am I talking about a different one?
Yeah, in Siberia. There were 7 hikers, 1 survivor, and there's differing stories. The only thing that people agree on was that she was found by kayakers. One said that she was screaming. Another one said that she was standing there in shock. Mm-hmm. So who knows what the real story is?
2 completely different viewpoints.
Yeah, exactly. And whatever site you go to, you can find the story is different. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so for the Dyatlov Pass incident, there were 2 people that didn't have eyes, and one of those was a woman, and her tongue was also missing. They explained that away because they were found face down and with water running beneath them, and saying that the water washed away the eyes and the tongue.
Of course it did.
Wait, because it was soft tissue.
They're going to say water and not like an animal? Like, because an animal or a bird will go right for the eyes. Or
Right. No, they said the water they were face down, and the water did this because soft tissue is the first to go.
Sure.
Yeah. No.
That's, pretty strange. Plus the coroner, everybody died of hypothermia.
That's interesting.
Like I was telling Susie, I understand that in hypothermia, sometimes you get overheated and you rip off clothes. I mean, I've heard that before, so I can understand that part. But the damage to the whole camping site and to the bodies, we're going to say that was hypothermia?
Yeah, it's pretty strange. What were some of the other injuries? Oh, they had internal injuries without any external trauma.
What?
Plus, one person's head his skull was crushed, but no evidence of any kind of external.
So even if they went at each other, even if there was some sort of hysteria that happened and they all started kind of attacking each other.
No, it doesn't. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
I mean, one of the theories is that there was an avalanche, right?
Right. It was what do they call it? Like just a partial, what do they call it? A slope?
Yeah,
slope avalanche. And their theory is that, and this was what, Terry, from the Swiss scientists.
Mm-hmm.
They came up with that theory, and that's how the tent, it crashed down on the tent, and then they cut their way out of the tent, and then had all kinds of internal damage with no external trauma, and they all died of hypothermia. So
I'm not a medic or a coroner, but I'm.
And then the other theory was from the woman who has been researching this thing for like forever, and she's like the most expert person on this incident.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody seems to want to listen to her, but what she said makes total sense to me, that the type of tent that they had, the way you put it up is you attach it to trees.
Right.
And the tent was found where there were no trees.
Right.
And the tent was, and she was saying, I can't remember. What was she saying? You watched it.
They ended up not pitching the tent where it was found, that they actually put it up in the forest, which was close by.
Yeah.
And
it was moved.
Right. And there was,
construction people.
Yeah, tree people that didn't want to be blamed because the authorities they tried to blame it on the indigenous people that lived in the area. And they found that, found out that they didn't have anything to do with it. And so the construction site, they didn't want to be blamed for it. So according to her, they had moved the tent and moved the bodies farther away from where they were working.
And supposedly the work that they were doing caused a massive tree to fall on the tent.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Which is what cut a hole in the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, which would explain why some of the bodies were half dressed, because they were sleeping when this happened. And so they tried to cover it up by, number one, moving the tent.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, taking the bodies and just kind of chucking them, in different areas.
Right.
And which would explain the internal injuries and all of that. If a tree falls on your tent, a massive tree falls on your tent, it's going to do some serious damage to a body.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any external trauma.
No, but the internal trauma, that is kind of weird that they didn't have any external.
Yeah. If you had a tree fall on you, I would think you had some kind of.
There would be external trauma.
But that theory makes much more sense than the avalanche theory.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Because she was saying that they kept diaries. And so according to the diary of this one guy, that night he said that they were warm and they had a fire and, everything was good and they were comfortable, which would make sense if they were in the forest.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that would explain their burns. There were some people that had burns. So if they still had the fire going,
sure,
someone might have, stumbled into the fire that they had.
Yeah, but they've never figured out what was the cause of it. And the conspiracy theories have just, all kinds of weird things that people are saying.
I can add to that.
Sure.
Oh, we got more.
I talked to Abram about it, and I asked him what happened, and he said that there are dimensional beings that come into our reality. Bigfoot is a dimensional being, that they're able to come in and out of our reality. He said there was a creature. This creature is Bigfoot-like, not like Bigfoot, not a Bigfoot, but Bigfoot-like. That's very malevolent and comes into our reality every once in a while. And so he was saying that creature was responsible. I'd have to go in more depth and ask him more questions because I still have a lot of questions. I don't know, but I'm just going to throw that in there.
Yeah.
And that would, like, if you're going down that route of paranormal-ish time portal, that kind of thing, that would answer a lot of questions, obviously. It's very interesting that what I was asking you before is like, you said portals move, and you got, it's Siberia, right? That area?
Right. Portals, they open and close.
The most remote places in the world.
I'm sorry?
Which is one of the most remote places in the world.
Exactly. And so many things happen there.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm just throwing that in there. According to this documentary, there are 75 different theories about what happened.
75? Wow.
Yeah.
How many?
Including Yeti.
Different, including the Yeti. Now, is the Yeti a Bigfoot?
I don't know.
I mean, it's the abominable snowman when I was
I don't know.
So that's another creature that we're saying larger than life would they have entered a portal? Or are they a creature that we just haven't discovered yet?
Right. You know what gets me, what I can't get past at this point are the eyes and the girl's tongue.
Yeah.
Because if they were face down in the water and they're saying that the water disintegrated the eyes and the tongue, what happened to the rest of the face?
Right. Eyes and tongue are surrounded by water internally.
You know, what about the soft tissue around the mouth?
Exactly.
How long were they out there before they were found? Was it a month?
Yeah, I think so. And they were all frozen.
4 weeks frozen. So why would the soft tissue, and what part of the time would the soft tissue have disintegrated that way?
Yeah, this happened in March. Didn't it happen in March? I think it was March.
Definitely colder.
You know, and that's a really cold region. And even with spring, you know, and things melting, things are going to stay frozen for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. We'll never know.
No, it's still a mystery.
Didn't this happen in the 30s or something?
1959.
Oh, 59.
Yeah. Now, the Tunguska explosion happened in 1908. Have you heard about that?
Mm-mm.
I haven't.
Okay. There was a meteor that came close to Earth, and I'll read you from, let's see, this comes from the website Earth Sky. The blast released enough energy to kill reindeer and flatten an estimated 80 million trees over an area of 830 square miles. Witnesses reported seeing a fireball, a bluish light, nearly as bright as the sun, moving across the sky. A flash and a sound similar to artillery fire was said to follow the fireball. And, according to the American Physical Society, a powerful shock wave broke windows hundreds of miles away, knocking people off their feet. So what they're saying is that this shock wave, or the power of the meteor, didn't say that it hit the Earth because there would be a crater. So there was not a crater. And the power, the energy from the meteor flattened all these trees.
Weird.
Now, and they're saying something like this only happens one every 3 centuries.
Well, that makes it very convenient for them.
Just like the hypothermia.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's another.
So how are they explaining the fact that the meteor did not land somewhere?
I have no idea. It came close enough, but I guess not close enough, so it continued on in space.
Have they tracked this particular meteor? I mean, is it just...
They didn't, you know, in 1908, they didn't have the technology to do
Exactly.
that.
They wouldn't have been able to track that.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's very strange. And the pictures that I've seen, it looks like the trees are all leveled going the same direction.
Now that is weird. That's a lot like, you know, the crop circles that they can't explain, not the ones that have been made, but the ones that they really can't explain.
Yeah.
Where the stalks are not broken, they're just flattened.
That's what the trees look like.
That's weird.
So that's another unexplainable phenomenon. And then what you were talking about earlier, Terry, is the 1993 Khamar Daban mountain range in Siberia. There's 7 hikers, 1 survivor. They recovered the bodies. There was bruised lungs, partially undressed. They had blood coming from their eyes and ears and frothing at the mouth, according to the survivor, and clutching their throats, and one, like they couldn't breathe, and one hitting her head repeatedly on a rock.
Well, the thing that makes sense to me is they did mention that during that time, the Russians were doing like warfare exercises up there, and they were using some kind of a nerve gas or some kind of a gas. And then it takes a while for that gas to actually go dissipate. And then they may have walked into a pocket of gas, and that the symptoms that they experienced were symptoms that would happen if you had been exposed to that type of gas.
Like, nerve gas.
You scratch your throat because you can't breathe, and, you know, and then making, you know, your mouth foaming at the mouth, and seizures and all of that stuff. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, that could also be symptoms like that can also be caused by, let's say, a natural leak of natural gas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it'll just level animals, people.
Wow.
What I find interesting, what I find weird about the whole thing is the girl who survived. How did she not? Because she was right there with everybody.
Yeah.
And how did she not, succumb to this same?
Yeah.
What information did they get from her?
I'm sorry?
What information did they get from her?
They kept saying her story changed.
Jeez.
So
she had maybe she was a little intoxicated by it, but not like as everyone else.
Yeah. And there's different stories. I mean, the story is the same about kayakers finding her, but different reports on her state of mind.
Yeah, somebody reported that she was calling for them, help me, and then they came over, and then when one of the kayakers approached her, she wrapped her arms around him and just started bawling her eyes out and screaming and stuff.
Yeah. And
then the other account was they were just going down the river and they look over and see this girl standing there, and she's like a zombie, and she just
in shock.
No expression, no nothing.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, and then they thought it was kind of weird, and they thought maybe they should just, keep going, and then they decided against that, and so they turned around and went to go see what was wrong, and then the whole time, they got her in the boat, and she never said anything, she blank face, just completely expressionless, like she was in shock.
Plus the first...
She was covered in blood.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Oh, covered in blood.
Yeah.
That is so weird. Okay, so we all know that, an accident happens and 5 different witnesses will have 5 different stories because your perception is what, drives what you see. But that is too different. Like that's almost like saying there was an accident and there was a balloon seller. I mean, it's 2 completely different things going on there.
I don't know. Strange. And she's the only one that really knows. And apparently after interviews and changing her story, she clammed up about it. And then I think years later somebody tried to interview her again, and she just wouldn't have it.
Okay, so someone's telling her to stay quiet or putting the fear of God in her to stay quiet. That's what I read about that. After just hearing that, it's like, if you're afraid to talk about some incredibly huge experience, something's keeping you from talking about it.
Well, if it was a military operation, obviously the military is going to jump in and say, you need to not say anything about it because, we're the military and we don't.
Oops, we made a mistake. We asked a bunch of people. Yeah.
Oopsie daisy.
Sorry, my bad.
Exactly.
Oh, all right. So let's talk about something recent in the past couple of decades or so about the reptilian people, the lizard people. And
I've been taught to be afraid of them.
Me too.
They run the world.
Exactly.
But watch out. They run the banking system and the telecommunications and
I thought it was
run the government.
Things.
I'm sorry?
I thought the little Hogwarts trolls were running the banking system. I'm so confused.
Oh my
God.
Tell me what to believe, damn it.
Oh Lord.
So allegedly, David Icke started this conspiracy and poached the idea from a TV series called V. You remember that, Annalisa? I don't remember the show.
Was it like the 80s or 90s?
It's something like that, yeah.
I remember V. I mean, but it was, it was...
I thought David Icke was talking about that prior to V, because I remember when V came out, and I had already been introduced to David Icke, and he was talking about reptilians prior to. I mean, he's been talking about the reptilians for decades.
I will say, and this is going to sound way left field, but here we are. I have had experience in a meditation with what I perceived as a reptilian, and I knew nothing about reptilian, any of that. I just perceived this entity as having a head of a reptilian. Super wise, super loving. It wasn't a bad experience, but it was a shocking experience because I wasn't meditating for any particular visual. It was just something that came into frame, and I'm not even a particular fan of reptiles in real life. So, it was a very odd thing for me to kind of conjure.
I've talked to Abram about different ET species, and I specifically asked him about the reptilians. Now, we can, not all aliens are good.
Sure.
Not all creatures are good.
Yeah.
So you're going to have different, just like we have here on Earth, we have different people with different ideas and different belief systems, and some do negative things, some do positive things, some do a little bit of both. Same with our ET people. And I asked him about the reptilians, and he said that the ones that I was talking about were very peaceful.
Okay.
And very intelligent. Same with what's that bug? We've talked about it, Terry.
Oh, the mantis.
Yes, the mantis. Same. I've seen them twice. They come through twice. And once when I was talking with you and I saw them, it came through. And then in another reading, I saw one. And the feeling that I got from them was that they were highly intelligent, very evolved. And of course, with any species, you're gonna have negative ones too.
Sure.
So when, David Icke came up with the reptilians, the end result is that people went on to believe that they are controlling the banking systems, the telecommunications. They are shapeshifters. The Bushes were reptilians. Obama was a reptilian.
Trump isn't a reptilian.
I'm sorry?
Trump is a reptilian.
Yes, yeah.
I thought he wouldn't be in the same group as them. That's funny.
No, because I thought he was sent here by God.
Exactly. I thought he was Jesus Christ. Don't we all think he looks like it? Actions showing the same?
Oh. And Bob Hope. Bob Hope was supposed to have been.
You can get on YouTube and you can just like do a search for reptilian shape shifting, and you can get a whole compilation of videos where people have put together these little snippets from, say, news reporters or politicians or whatever, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden their face might change, or especially their eyes will change.
Yes.
Teeth will change, Yeah. So
someone needs to take a class in film editing.
To me, I think it's just a glitch in the whatever.
Exactly.
You know how when you put your lights on your eyes when you're taking a picture and your eyes will glow, or they'll do this weird thing? Kind of like that, To me, that's, I don't know.
Or red, give you red eyes.
Right.
Yeah. And then of course there's always Photoshop.
Exactly. The
Occam's razor.
Right. The real downside to all of this is that there were people that believed so deeply into this conspiracy theory. There was, and a lot of them were neo-Nazis.
I heard that.
On that side of the spectrum, QAnon or whatever they called it. QAnon. That one guy took his 2 children to Mexico and killed them because he thought they had reptilian DNA.
Oh, for God's sakes. Ugh.
There was another guy who was a Proud Boy, from what I read, I'll say allegedly, who killed his brother because he thought his brother was reptilian.
This is so creepy.
This is really dangerous, some of these conspiracy theories. It's really dangerous. And I don't understand how people can get so caught up in something like this.
It's an isolation.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and some of it is self brainwashing.
Yes, of course.
But so Sue, just to make so I understand where you're coming from with this, you believe that there are no bad reptilians?
No.
No what?
No, I thought I was clear that every species has, just like human beings, you have
good and bad. Good
and bad.
So what's his name? Oh my gosh, long time ago, there was a guy that talked about the reptilians. Gosh dang it, I can't remember his name. He was interviewed in a hotel room. This was like probably 20 years ago, and talking about his experiences with the reptilians and how they eat children and all of this stuff. And
oh my God,
it's just really bad. And then David Icke, talks about the reptilians and talks about how they're running the world and all of that stuff. And that is one of the subjects that I kind of steer away from, only because, all of my ET contact has always been positive. Not
Mine
to say
too,
that I haven't seen, like I do think I did see a reptilian type being one time when I was in between sleep and awake, that twilight thing.
Magic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I will go places in that space or whatever. And I was in between the awake and asleep, and all of a sudden I was like shot into this, I think it was a spaceship, but I can't swear to it that it was a spaceship. It was a room that was kind of dark, but it had, and it wasn't really, really big, maybe a, 20 by 20 room. And I just appeared there, and I was standing there and I was looking straight ahead, and there was a being that was standing in front of me. I want to say maybe 10 feet away. And I was looking directly at him, but he was turned off to the side and looking in a different direction. And it really surprised me to see him standing there. And well, it surprised me that I was even there in the first place, but I was really like shocked by the whole thing. And then he's just standing there, and he's like kind of short, but real stout. And he had like a really big head, and he was dressed in this, kind of almost like armor, but it was made of leather, I think, or some kind of leathery looking thing. And his skin was kind of reptile-ish. It had the bumps or whatever that kind of looked kind of like a reptile. And then I'm staring at him and I'm in shock. And then all of a sudden he just turns and he looks straight at me, and his eyes were perfectly round like saucers, and they were black, completely black. And he had no expression on his face, and he just turned and he just looked at me, and it scared the living can I say shit? Scared the living shit out of me. And then all of a sudden, my body just jumped away, and I was just shaking. It just scared me so bad. This happened, gosh, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. And, but when I think about it now and I remove myself from the fear that I had, if I remove the emotion from it, I mean, he wasn't like, I didn't get a real malevolent kind of feel from him. It was his appearance that shocked me. It was his appearance, and he looked, reptilian-y, and he just scared the shit out of me. So I don't know. Maybe I went there because I needed to see him, or what. I don't know why I went there, but it freaked me out. It freaked me out really bad. I don't ever want to see that guy again.
Well, I think it's very interesting that we are, and I've kind of joked about this before, we're taught to believe certain things are scary by their look. Mm-hmm. You see a picture of the devil. You see a picture of, which is really, I think, Balal or something. I can't think of the name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? And our education about reptiles in general, they're cold-blooded, which is more of a physiological thing, but our interpretation of that is they are no empathy, no, like serial killers kind of thing. So we've already set ourselves up to not like reptiles. So if something looks like a reptile and now has consciousness and power, now we're terrified. And all of that has kind of been put into us. So maybe they're showing up in things like your hypnagogic state or my meditation, also kind of a hypnagogic state, to kind of desensitize us and have us change that mentality that we have. But it's going to take a little time for us to get over that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Terry, I have a question. So the way you traveled in your dreams when you were living in Iceland, now that you've moved to Pacific Northwest, has that changed? Because down here in Florida, it was this is really not a very evolved state. Being in the Pacific Northwest, have your dreams changed? Has anything changed for you?
Well, just the fact that I have dreams since I moved here. When I was living in Florida, I couldn't remember any of my dreams. It's like I just stopped dreaming. Oh. It was just weird. I know I didn't stop dreaming. You have to dream. I mean, that's just, whatever. But I didn't remember any of them. Since I've been here, I've got some, I've had some really vivid dreams, and like movie, back to where, like, when I was in Iceland, I would dream these dreams like a movie, and then I would even go to bed the next night and pick up where I left off.
Oh, wow.
Continue on the dream. So that almost makes me wonder if that's just another complete full life that I'm having,
That makes me want to go to Iceland.
Huh?
That makes me want to go to Iceland.
Oh, well, yeah. In Iceland, the energy is so different there, and I used to have like out of body experiences almost every single night. Just amazing. I have not had any out of body experiences since I've been here in Washington, but the dreaming, and I really missed the dreaming. I really missed the dreaming because I used to have some really cool dreams. And they just, all of a sudden they just stop. And now I'm having really cool dreams again. So I think one step at a time, I'm going to try to start, doing the out of body stuff again. But the energy here is like the energy in Iceland. I mean, because people are so much more open-minded here, and the energy is completely different.
So do you think there's
in California too?
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. Mm-hmm. Do you think the remoteness of where you were at had anything to do with how you could quiet down, or were you in a city?
I was actually on a Navy base. And Iceland you were talking about, I was living on a Navy base, and it was like on a lava flow. It was like in the middle of not nowhere, but there was little villages.
Okay, so it's more of a village situation and not a big city situation.
Right.
Okay. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
You may have something there for sure. Because now that I think about it, so when I started having my out-of-body experiences was after I had my first ET encounter. And I was living in San Diego at the time. And then I was married to, my ex-husband was Navy, and he was stationed at North Island in San Diego, and we lived there for a lot of years. And then
I lived down there.
He got stationed in Tennessee. So when we moved to Tennessee, I started having the out-of-body experiences, and where we lived in Tennessee was a very small town. It was not a big city. It was Munford, Tennessee, outside of Memphis.
Okay.
So it was a small town. Now here I am in Seattle, and this is a crazy big place. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm hoping I don't have any difficulties here. I'm hoping that.
I think you just have to set yourself up for feeling that same kind of quietness, probably. Mm-hmm. A lot of light pollution. I don't think we realize that a lot of light pollution that big cities have can really hinder our peace and quiet in many ways.
Yeah, for sure. And
that's just light. Let alone sound.
Mm-hmm. And all of the electromagnetic stuff that goes along with all of that can really interfere with.
Even just living close to each other, I think, can interfere.
Yeah. So,
I think, too, moving from Florida and how energetically this is a really oppressive kind of energy here, that moving.
For someone like you, yeah.
Yeah. And me, when I lived there for 35 years.
I don't know how you did that.
Oh my God, it was horrible. I hated every second of it.
I mean, I'm already the black sheep in this area. I can't imagine being the black sheep there.
I think your nervous system is calming down also.
I agree.
Because you've had a really big life change and things were very stressful for you here. And I'm sure you're, in some of the experiences that I know that you had, your nervous system was really jacked up. And so now you've made this huge change in your life. And I think your nervous system needs time to really calm down. And I think once you get to that point where you start dreaming like that again, things are just going to absolutely open up for you.
I really hope so. I've never been more happy.
Oh,
because I just retired in April of this year.
Congratulations.
So my job was very, very stressful. So that is gone, and now I'm living up here in Seattle. Near my youngest daughter and her family, and I'm not working. I do whatever I want. I live well. I have a nice, cute little house that she bought me. So I can move up here. I know. And it's just, I'm around people that think like me, and
it's so important.
It's just, oh my gosh, it's massively important. So I'm really hoping that the big city stuff is not gonna interfere with my.
I don't think it will.
Getting back to my stuff, because I really miss all of the out of body experiences and the ET stuff. No, I did have some ET stuff in Florida. I had some, I had some sightings.
Yeah, but that was your government.
No, I mean, I woke up to an ET in my bedroom one night, and
whoa.
Oh yeah, it was.
That would terrify the hell out of me.
It was. It was interesting, and it only lasted a few seconds. But you want me to tell a story? I can tell you the story real quick. So I was at Sue's house, and
it's Sue's fault.
No, kind of. So I was at Sue's house, and she was giving some readings to me and some other ladies that were there, and she was telling me that the ETs, are wanting to work with me, and I started having ET experiences back in 1983.
Wow,
very, very, very first ones, right? So I've been kind of wanting the ETs to, my ET family to come and work with me and stuff. And she said they're here, and they want you to know they're ready to work with you. And I'm like, I'm ready. So I don't know, it was like a few nights later, I was, since after that happened, and I was putting out my intention, every day, that I'm ready, come visit me, blah, 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 I want to work with you, and I want you to work with me. And then one night I was sleeping, and I was laying on my back, and I had blankets on me up to here, and I was dreaming that I I was dreaming that I was dreaming. I was dreaming that I was asleep and I was dreaming. And in that dream, I could feel that I was being watched, but I couldn't move. I was paralyzed, right? And I couldn't move. I couldn't wake myself. I couldn't open my eyes. So I'm struggling to open my eyes in my dream. And then all of a sudden my real eyes opened up, and standing at the foot of my bed was this really tall extraterrestrial. He was so tall that he had to lean over, because if he stood up, his head would have went through the ceiling.
Wow.
And he was standing there with his arms down by his sides, and he was leaned over, and he was just looking at me. No expression on his face, just looking at me. And when I opened my eyes and I saw him, it took me by surprise, and my arms were like across my chest, and the blankets were on top of me. I went, ah! And then the blanket went up, and then when the blanket came back down, he was gone. And I'm like, and so the first thing that came out of my mouth really loud was, well, that's not what I had in mind.
Like, wait a minute.
Get back here.
I want you to come and visit me during the day, when it's light outside, in my living room, not in the middle of the night,
And you know what would happen if he did. You know exactly what would have happened if he done that.
It would have been a lot easier to take than opening your eyes.
He would have pulled a gun.
Oh my God. And he hasn't come back since then, but I know he's there. And he was humanoid, right? He was humanoid looking, but he had a really big head. He had white hair. His jawline was very chiseled,
sounding hot to me. I don't know.
His chin was very square, and his jaw, his jawline was very, very, I don't know. He was like, oh,
yummy.
I know.
I wouldn't be kicking him out of bed for eating crackers. I'll tell you that much. But I've had experiences, not with ETs. That's all very new to me. But where, I'm a medium, so I want to see things. I want to not have it just in my mind, because I think it's my imagination. So show me. And they do, and I freak them out. Like, you're not ready.
I know. It's like, I don't know how to do it. I mean, I don't know. Just how do you do it? Baby step. I mean, how do you, they're like, okay, here we are, and then you're all freaked out and you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. It's such a surprise.
Yeah.
It's not that you're really scared. It's such a surprise that you're not expecting it.
I was not scared of this guy. I didn't feel fear. I was startled.
Yep.
It's like walking around the corner and coming face to face with another person.
Yeah, it's a jump scare. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a jump scare. And so I went, wow, and then he was gone. He was completely gone.
Yeah.
And then I felt bad when I
know. Don't you feel bad afterwards?
I'm so sorry, come back.
I didn't mean it.
Maybe next time we can go into your full story of when you and your daughter, who was very small at the time, went aboard a craft.
Oh, yeah, I'd love that.
So why don't we do that next time? Okay. And Lisa, before we go, I'd like to hear about your experiences on the Queen Mary when you were with, what was the group that you were with?
I was like the San Francisco Ghost Society, which is up here where I'm at. And we had a great time. We went down to a conference down there, a paranormal conference, because we like to do investigations. Now, I'm both an investigator and the medium. So I'll go in as the medium first to a place and pick up what I feel, and then I'll go in as an investigator, not a medium, because I like doing both. I like to debunk things as much as I like to kind of find things. So we went down to this conference, had a great time, and they took us through the pool area and the area where the man was crushed, and definitely felt stuff, definitely heard stuff, got some EVPs, all of it. Great. In my own room, which I was not expecting, and it wasn't really the haunted room. It wasn't known to be haunted per se. I'm talking with my girlfriend, who's my roommate at the time, and we're talking about how fun it's going to be, and all of a sudden the armoire, which has to be kind of you have to push a button to close it and then push a button to open it. It went click, click, and then just opened on its own while we were talking. We're
Lord.
That's interesting. And so now we're at it going, how do you open this? How do you close this? Is it real? Couldn't explain it. And then one day after a lecture, I came back to the room and the water in the bathroom was on. Full force. Sink, tub. My immediate response was, damn it, come on, roomie, why are you doing it? The maid, I'm blaming the maid, Stuff like that was happening in our room. Now I had fine sleep. I didn't feel disturbed or anything, but it was like, this is kind of interesting. This is kind of cool. The weirdest thing that I still can't decide what it is that you're on a ship, right? So you're expecting it to move. This doesn't move. It's bolted to the dock.
Oh.
The Queen Mary doesn't really move like a boat would move. First of all, it's huge. So it's not going to move in a docked position. It's going to move if it was out in the ocean. Yeah, obviously. But I kept feeling like I was moving. And I was like, that's so interesting. And the other thing that was really cool was that in the pool area, a little girl is supposed to be there. And we did get a little voice on EVP. All of that was really cool. There's the changing area. And there's supposedly a vortex. And I felt very specifically a portal kind of vortex area in that back room. And I had somebody talking to me in there on my video camera. There was no man with me, but I hear male voices talking to me. Can't understand what they're saying. Now that was the frustrating part, was that I heard a full conversation, but couldn't understand the words. And then when I went into that vortex thing, it felt different. And that's another place where I felt like, whoa, I'm moving. This is like a whoosh, whoosh feeling. So stuff like that was happening constantly on the Queen Mary. And, and then you go up to the upper levels and people are normal and there's nothing really going on there. But I would definitely check out the Queen Mary. It's very cool.
Where is it located?
Long Beach, isn't it?
Oh, is it Long Beach?
Yeah.
How long were you there? Was it just overnight?
It was like a 3-day weekend type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Probably 2 nights.
Okay. Right.
And it was years ago, so it was with Darkness Radio. I don't know if that's still a thing, but Dave Schrader and Tim used to be the hosts of something called Darkness Radio, and that was a super cool conference that they set up with lots of different lectures. And I think the Ghost Hunters were there. It was way back then when Ghost Hunters was a TV show.
That's really cool. The ghost thing has always been kind of scary to me for some reason. But
it's funny. Aliens know, but ghosts.
I know. I tease her about that all the time. She can be a medium too. She is a medium.
Oh my God. You are a medium, probably.
She is. She has channeling abilities, and she's a medium.
I'd like to talk about the differences of that sometime.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
But I've had some weird things going on in here too. My VCR just turned on all of a sudden for no reason, and then my little Christmas tree. I have a little tiny Christmas tree on the hearth of my fireplace, and it's got batteries in it. It's not plugged in, and then that came on first all by itself.
Wow.
No. Okay, that's weird. And then right after that, my VCR my DVD player clicked on.
That's cool.
Annalisa, I have an idea.
Yeah.
If we do this next time, which sounds like a really good idea, why don't you and I do a reading for Terry?
Sure.
And we'll see what we can pick up and what's going on in your house and in that area.
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I would love that too. Thank you.
I also think when stuff like that happens, it's a combination of the spirit possibly and our energy together making things happen. Mm-hmm. Because I think it takes a lot of energy for them to move stuff and do stuff like that.
Yeah. What I'm picking up right now is that a lot of that activity is because of you being on very populated indigenous land.
I would agree with that. And I think you're feeling freer to open up, and so that's connected to it too.
Yeah. Now that kind of stuff doesn't scare me. It's like I don't want to walk in the kitchen and find all my cabinets open.
Yeah, no, I'm not really.
That would freak me out too.
Or my chairs on top of each other. No, well, if you're going to do that, then undo it, because I don't want to.
Yeah, or the kitchen chairs moving across the kitchen floor.
No, thank you. I can buy my own wheels.
Now, remember, Annalisa, do you remember, I'm sure you do, when we were in New Orleans? Mm-hmm. And we were touring around and we went into that hotel where there was supposed to be a little girl.
Yeah.
And that was haunting the place. What I was getting was, when we were there, was that this little girl comes and goes because it was a lot of fun for her to be there.
That's exactly what we got.
That was basically her job.
Like, I'm here to just have fun and make you make scary faces.
Yeah. And she was well aware of, the stories about her and everything. And that was great fun for her to just pop in and out.
That's exactly how I feel about the Winchester House in San Jose. Mm-hmm. When I've been there, everyone talks about, she was crazy and she wasn't crazy. She was smart as a whip, actually. And she was into design. And so that's why she did what she did. But the ghosts there now, when I did readings with them, they're like, we're here because we want to preserve this place. And we're here because we're helping the staff.
Right.
It was literally like, I'm going to be in combination with you while you create this business to keep this place intact. I'd never experienced that before. I'm like, wow, they're so conscious of what they're doing.
Yeah.
and why they're doing it.
When I was in St. Augustine one time, and we had a guest from up north, and so I had taken him to St. Augustine, kind of gave him a tour of the lighthouse. I got information from the lighthouse that there was a woman, and I had not seen the photograph on the wall prior, but I was getting information about this woman that was taking care of the store and walking around and making sure everybody was doing okay. And there was somebody that was standing at the door greeting, all in spirit. This was all spirit at the door greeting people. And so there were very well, it's not the lighthouse itself that's haunted, which they have people going in there after hours, ghost hunting people. It's not the lighthouse. It's the store and the building attached to it is where they are. And then I was seeing all kinds of Confederate soldiers camped out in tents out on the front lawn. And so they're all still there. There was a group of spirits in St. Augustine who were taking care of the tourists. So they're all very well aware of what's going on and very active in preserving.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Because I was not expecting to get that response when I was at the Winchester. So I think there are a lot of designated haunted places where the ghosts will check in and, here's my work day today. Because they want the history preserved, which I think is very.
Yeah. And, take care of people.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So we know what we're going to talk about next time.
Excellent.
And so thank you, Annalisa. Thank you, Terry. And thank you for all of you that are listening. We're going to try and keep this fun and light and non-judgmental and talk about our personal experiences and paranormal things that are going on in the world. So we'll catch you next time. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.